Hello, I can't hear you. I can't hear Jared. I can't hear you.
That's because I muted myself and my whole beginning was just a waste of breath. So there you go. Just me. It's one of those things, when you do it all by yourself and, just I've been not doing a very good job today. But anyway, never mind. We won't go into that way. So I was just saying to the viewers, silently to myself, while my mouth was flapping and nothing else was going on, that you had to go through a terrible family tragedy back in the early 2000s, and you had to move interstate, had to change your name, you had to go into hiding, you had to endure physical beatings and all sorts of things, and changed your name and did all those sorts of things to get over this thing that was happening to you. And do you want to go on with the story a little bit, because it's your story to tell, and I don't want to spoil it by telling something that may not be quite accurate.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Rose, for having me. Yeah, I moved here after a family tragedy, and it's as simple as this. I rented a property, and on that property there were a carnival family. And through the carnival family, I noticed there was a little 4-year-old boy who was very, very neglected. So I approached the father, the biological father of the child, and I asked whether I could just have him for a night, because it was freezing cold and he was in a nappy and not much else. So the father absolutely agreed, which completely shocked me. He didn't know me from a bar of soap, so I had him that night. And then the next day, the father came down and said that he was going on the road for a couple of weeks, and did I want to keep the boy? And I'm like, no, I can't. And my beautiful daughter at the time was about 19, and she said, yes, we'll do it. So we've had him ever since. He's now 14. But the journey to keep him safe, to keep myself safe, it's been a ride, a really big ride. I've had to change my name. I don't vote properly. My license and everything comes up as restricted and hidden. I've endured 5 or 6 home invasions where I've had broken bones, tasers held to my head, strangled when I was just getting prepared to go to my own father's funeral, had a home invasion and was strangled, then had to leave to go to New South Wales for my father's funeral. And then my car mysteriously had its tyres burst. So it's been horrific. We've been relocated 5 different times. But at the moment we're safe, but just I've suffered with complex PTSD, suicidal tendencies because of it, depression. You lose part of your soul.
I could imagine that you would do. It's pretty awful, having to go through something like that. What prompted this person to, just, be so awful to you?
He wanted his child back. I ended up, I had the little one for turn up on my property and take him back. And after a few of those times, he threw me around my own house like a rag doll and broke my foot and just placed it in two parts. And that's when I decided I'd go for custody. So I went for custody of him, and it took 2 years.
Wow. So, was the court system, obviously a long process, but, were they more on your side than his side, or how did they award it to you and not to the father?
It took over 20 breaches, mistakes, and ultimately a girlfriend who was here helping me with a resume videotaped him. He approached my property and verbally threatened, which was recorded, that he was going to end the life of my child, my biological child.
Your biological child?
My only child.
Wow, that is pretty powerful.
After that, that's when they put him into jail, but he was only in jail for 35 days due to a muck up with the system.
Oh, wow. terrible. And being in hiding all of that time must have been, so bad. You wouldn't be able to have contact with your family or anything, would you?
My whole family is still in New South Wales, so I've got no support network except for my daughter, who's now 29 and has had to live through it and got her own demons because of it. Yeah, it's been very difficult. It's just insane. It's insanity. He's, narcissistic, drug addicts. This child of mine now, my son, was born addicted to heroin. And then fed heroin for 16 months through the breast milk, through the biological mother. He witnessed so much trauma. He witnessed his own mother almost murdered. He's witnessed me almost be murdered a few times. So he's seen a lot, and he's developmentally delayed. He's in year 9 next year, but he's doing year 5 work because of all the damage that they've done.
That's very, 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 very sad. I guess how long, if you don't mind sharing, how long were you in the relationship before, you had to leave?
Well, I jumped into a relationship with this man for approximately 4 weeks before he broke my foot in 2 places and displaced it. I then had to surrender my property, and I went on the run because I was told he was coming after me to murder me. Under protest, he took his son screaming, kicking and screaming, and I thought that was the end of it. I went to the police. I did everything. I tried to recover, and 4 months later, in my new location, at 9 o'clock at night on a winter's night, we heard a little tiny voice out the front calling our name, and it was this child.
Oh, dear.
So his father had returned him and said, I can't deal with him. He's yours. You do what you want with him. But until I got proper custody and until I got him put into jail, he didn't stop. And it's ironic because we've had a 6-year absence, and he's just come back out. So.
Well, you can't get the child anymore because the child is legally yours now.
That's right. Right.
So he's actually signed away his parental rights.
That's right.
Well, then he can't do anything about it, can he? He can't take the child off you as much as he would to. I mean, he probably might try, but then he can be charged with, kidnapping and all sorts of other things. So, the law's on your side in that regard, which is, a really good thing because quite often, women or the abused partner finds themselves without the law being on their side fully because, there's some circumstances or the abuser has, fabricated so many lies and so many stories that, nobody knows what to believe. So, you're lucky in that way and just stay safe. Anyway, we'll get off that. So what prompted you to, or how did you go from where you were being, this beaten, bent, sad, depressed woman into the, person that you are? And really it was quite such a short time afterwards. You've transformed into this strong, unbelievable woman.
I did a variety of healing modalities, but basically it was, I had learnt Reiki when I was in my early 20s. I'd become a Reiki 2, and all I needed to do was to do my master's course and I could be a master. And with everything that went on, I never got there, and I thought, no, I need to get self-reflect. I need to heal with love. I need to heal my soul. And Reiki did it, so I'm now a master. And I'm just started up. I've got my webpage getting made as we speak, where I'm going to heal other women, and help other women who've had trauma. So, if I can do it. I used to have a roster system at my front window where I would sit guard. I honestly would sit guard from as soon as the sun went down until the next morning, and I'd be on a roster system for sleep because I thought today, maybe the day he comes and gets me.
That's a horrible way to live, and I'm sure I have no doubt there are other women or men for that matter that are living through the very same thing that you've had to go through. I can't imagine. I mean, I've been through I'm out the other side of a domestic violence relationship, but honestly, it was not as bad as you. And I've had other guests that have had very similar situations where they didn't know if they're going to be alive from one day to the next. So, yeah, I really do feel for you. And there's not enough, though, being done, I don't think. Domestic violence orders really aren't worth the paper they're written on, I don't reckon, because, they breach them all the time. They're breached all the time by whatever party has the order against them. And, the poor survivor doesn't get the protection that they require. I mean, they can't have a policeman on their door 24/7 either, which, in most cases is what's needed.
And I did. I had a sergeant, it was a little girl, a young girl, and she was I'm 5 foot nothing, and she would come into my home and sit. And when I would get stressed, I'd colour in my child's books, and she would sit with me and colour in until she got a call on the radio saying she had a really important job just in an unmarked car at my neighbour's house, just to keep me safe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good when there are people out, law enforcement officers who will go that extra mile to protect, friends or even people they don't know, because they know that person is not feeling safe. And colouring in, when I was really depressed, I used to colour in too. My eldest daughter bought me a mandala book, and I used to colour that in. Because it just relieved the stress. I don't know why it does that. I think it's because you take your mind off everything else. But so I guess in your Reiki practice, how can people in a situation, use Reiki as a way of calming themselves and learning, new self-care modalities?
Well, you can learn Reiki yourself, but a Reiki session your body only takes what healing it does need. Like yesterday, I've got all this week, I'm doing free Reiki on anybody who wants it for the whole month of December. And I had a young lady yesterday, she made an appointment, she came over, and I was doing her, and I had my hands on her, and I thought all of a sudden I had a stabbing pain right into my spine, and I was like, leaning forward thinking, oh, please no, not today, don't do this. And I'm going like this and like this, and I thought, what's wrong with me? Like, why now when I'm doing this free thing to try and help people? And then I did the whole session, and when she got off the table, she said to me, I don't have any pain. And I said, it's funny you say that, because my whole back I had stabbing pains. And she said, I looked up at you and saw you all contorted. She said, and I had a giggle. She said, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't know if I was allowed to talk. But she said to me, I described her. That's what she does on a daily basis. And the pain was in her spine. She no longer has pain. So your body takes what it needs. You don't have to even believe in it. I've had people who go, like, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that, and I'll just put my hands on you anyway, and they're just like, my goodness. So I've been doing it for 30 years. It heals everything, your mind, your soul, your heart, and it's sort of after everything I've been through, to be able to give back and accomplish this is just, I never thought I'd do it. I thought I'd be another statistic. I really did, and I've gone from a scared little mouse to and as I have said to these people themselves, I'm now the sharpshooter on my roof. So watch out. You come back in my street, I'm the sharpshooter. And that's how I feel. Like my doors are open now. They know where I live. They found me again. And due to the strictness of what I need to be housed in, Department of Housing don't have that. So unfortunately, they've sort of made my house a little fortress, but that wouldn't stop them. That wouldn't. Right. It hasn't before. But I'm quite confident now, and there's nothing that frightens me, nothing. And and they've contacted me this time. They've contacted me with threats over, if I do this, if I do that, if I get certain things given to their child, that I might as well just go and put a bullet in my own head right now before they get to me, because that's that they don't agree with their child getting a certain thing put into their body. So the pressure's still on. And my little boy had a brother, and his brother was killed in a car accident involving a police chase. He never got to escape that family. So he grew up, or was dragged up, I say, by that family, and he was killed in a police chase. So they want their baby boy back. That's why they got interest again. You know, our eldest son's gone. We've got nobody. We want our son back. So it's just unfortunate they're not
Well,
getting
they
it.
can't have him. He's not theirs any longer. So,
And he's now not a tiny little 3 foot nothing. You know, he's now a nearly 6 foot martial arts little dude, because I've had him in martial arts since he was 5 years old.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff, you know, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners and viewers can relate to that. You know, going through such trauma, so many threats, so
long too, for a decade. And I have a daughter who had such a debilitating illness where she couldn't actually go to the toilet for 9 years, and at any time I thought at that stage I could lose her, and I had to try and keep her well and keep her away from this house and keep myself alive and keep my son alive. It was just insanity.
So what did you do then to, I guess, release the trauma and now live a life of peace?
As I said, I did a lot of different healing modalities, but I just more so went back into myself. I shut phones off. I turned off internet. I just wanted to find out who I was, and if that little girl that had also survived a very traumatic childhood, you know, who was I? You know, who was I? And I wanted to find out who I was. So that's been that sort of set me off on, you will heal. And if I could survive my childhood, and if I could survive the tragedy that our family went through, it was very, very, very well publicized. I can survive anything. You know, I can survive anything. So I just think us women don't realize how strong we are until we're backed into a corner.
Yeah, I know, even the ones that you know, are currently in, you know, dire straits relationships. You know, I don't think if they were to stand up to their abuser and just you know, walk out, but only thing is it doesn't only takes strength. I think it takes courage too, because sometimes you can't walk away because you really have nowhere to go. And I know there's not enough assistance as far as refuges or homes or places of safety that women can go to, or men for that matter, who are in such abusive relationships that they fear for their lives. So I think the governments need to step up to the mark a little bit better than what they're doing, and help these women and prevent them from being homeless with their children. I think it's, you know, it's such an indictment on society that, you know, that mothers who have left abusive relationships are living on the streets with their children because they have nowhere else to go. I think that's terrible. And I'd use other strong language, but I won't.
And the damage that it does to their brain, seeing such violence is catastrophic. I've had my child to the best pediatricians and specialists for children, and they couldn't diagnose, you know, what was wrong with him. You know, is he autistic? Has he got Asperger's? Has he got this? Has he got that? And I took him to a friend of mine who is actually like a brain expert, and she's just proven it was, you know, all the abuse he suffered causes this disassociation of the brain. And just a few months of treatment with her, and he had his first birthday party with 3 whole friends. He's never had friends because of, you know, he's a little bit different. The boys his age are into girls and girlfriends, and he's not there yet. So he looks like a man, but he's not acting like a man, you know.
Yeah. I know, you know, he's born addicted to heroin anyway. You know, his brain's not going to be all that big.
And well, yeah, fed it. The doctors did tell me that it's not so much. Funnily enough, it's not so much in the pregnancy. It's the fact that she fed it to him for 16 months. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the damage.
And
the abuse, you know, the abuse he witnessed before I got him as well, and after I got him until I could get custody. It has catastrophic effects on their little brain. It changes Yeah, you know, but I mean, he's on a really good path. I've got good people in his life. He's got fantastic role models, you know, and so I think we're in a really good place.
Good.
Good place, you know, and I would never ever would have envisioned that this is what you know, who I would have become. 3 years ago, I was having breakdowns, you know, on my sister's property, and people thinking, "What's wrong with this woman? She's mental," you know. But it's just so consuming. You can't. No one can understand where you're coming from, and the fear, and that you can't get help. You know, and I had to voluntarily put myself and keep myself in this situation, and do lots and lots of things that I hated doing because I didn't have custody of him. So I had to like befriend the father and act certain ways to even have access to this little boy to make sure he was all right, which I did for 2 years until I got custody of him.
Yes, it's terrible. I mean, I don't mean this word unkindly. Please don't take it that way. But you know, it's bad that you had to prostitute yourself basically to keep that child safe. I understand what that means, to prostitute yourself to keep your children safe. I understand that totally. So,
you're an absolute crazy person who the minute you do turns around and speaks to you as if you're in a 20-year relationship. Would you like me to go and get something for you, babe? Like,
it's mind-blowing.
With terms with, I'm trying to, what do I do to keep this baby safe? I've got no say. I'm not a relative. I'm just a girl who rented a property. You know, I've got no claim on this child. And I witnessed in past times that they did take him from my arms, from my daughter's bed, and from a warm home on a freezing cold raining night, and hand him straight back into the arms of his drunk father, because I had no claim. And his father said I'd kidnapped him. So, I mean, he got arrested as soon as he got put into the father's arms because the father was drunk. And he spent his first night in jail before he was 5 years old. Oh, he loved it, but, you know, I think it's disgusting. But he loved it.
He probably thought it was just... it was a novelty for him. He wouldn't have understood what he was going through at that time. So,
normal for him.
That's really awful. I guess, have you got any, you know, thing that you can share with our viewers about, you know, how they might be able to help themselves with some, you know, meditation, or, you know, something that they can do to help them through whatever problems they're going through?
Meditation, and I do run courses to help women through my Reiki business. And it's called Rising Phoenix Reiki. You can find it on Facebook. The webpage is under construction, but I've got lots of little tricks that, you know, and I've just helped a girlfriend who didn't realize how much danger she was in, and she came here and had a little bit of a chat, and I was like, no, we're not doing this. And I got up and put her coffee in my sink and tipped it out, and we got in her car, and I packed her up, and I've got her stuff here now. And it's been a hard journey for her, but I mean, she's now safe, but she was so unsafe, but she didn't see it. But I think, thank God that I had gone through it. I picked up on these signs that she was reading completely differently. You know, she's getting sucked in and romance and things, and I'm thinking, please, no, you're going to get hurt. But we got her out in time, so she's safe as well now. So I'm willing to help anybody that needs it. As I said, I do a lot of free stuff as well. So, I mean, you don't have to have money. Just want to give me a call, and I'll share anything with you that you need.
Right. So it's, what's it called? Rising Phoenix
Reiki, and it's on Facebook.
Lovely. All right. So I'll put that in the notes later after we finish today, and I'll put it in the chat. And people can contact you there if they want to have a discussion or get some help from you. That'll be great. You've been an absolute pleasure, Louise. I can call you Louise now, which is great.
Tracy's my real name. Louise is my, you know,
pretend name. Okay, yeah. Tracy, Louise, Tracy.
It's actually Tracy Louise. Louise is my middle name, so it's
Tracy Louise. All right, then I will call you Tracy. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me and for sharing your story with us. It's been a pleasure, and learning about you, and hope that people have been able to get some wisdom from your words, and know that when it's time to leave, and get out and keep themselves and their children safe.
Exactly. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, we didn't get off to a very good start, but we finished up pretty well. I want to thank you for joining me this evening. It's been my great pleasure to, again, spend time with you and speak with our guest, Tracy, and learn of her journey. And so, as I said, I will find the Facebook link to her business, and I will post it into the comments after this broadcast. So thank you again for joining me, and I will be back next Tuesday with another really inspiring guest. So until then, bye.